So Suma, you're still planning to come out here when next Sunday?
The following Bhante, the following Wednesday.
That's when the retreat starts. Assuming you're still planning coming out a few days earlier than next Sunday.
The following Bhante.
Okay, you're back.
So Suma, you said you're coming on the day the retreat starts?
Wednesday, Bhante, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to come a few days earlier.
Looks like work time-wise, it might be Wednesday. Yeah.
So you saw we went through the glitch already, so now you're all set to go. You do Namo Tassa, we don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
You heard that double thing? We went through it, so now we won't have that problem. You do it 2 minutes early.
Okay, we'll go ahead and start then with reciting the Namo Tassa and the 3 refuges for those who like. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Sanghang Saranang Gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. So welcome, friends, to this Sunday afternoon Dhamma program, and we're continuing to look at the Dhammapada. And last week we covered the section on the world, and we're going to be kind of skipping over chapter 14 for the moment, which is called the Buddhavagga, and going over something, or the chapter 15, the Sukha Vagga, or the chapter on happiness. So that's a topic that probably most people are keen to understand, different aspects about, happiness, and dwelling in happiness, in contrast to dwelling without happiness that a lot of people sometimes find themselves in. We might save the chapter on the Buddha for closer to the Wesak time. Okay, so this is chapter 15 in the Dhammapada, starting with the overall, generally, verse 197. I'm going to read the Pali verses again in the English translations. Susukam vata jivam verinesu averino verinesu manusesu viharama averino Susukam vata jivam aturesu anatura aturesu manusesu viharama anatura Susukam vata jivam usukesu anusuka usukesu manusesu viharama anusuka. Actually, that was three verses kind of tied together. And the translation is, happily do we live without hate amongst the hateful. Amidst hateful persons we dwell without hate. Happily do we live in good health amongst the ailing. Amidst ailing persons we dwell in good health. Happily do we live without yearning amongst those who yearn. Amidst those who yearn, we dwell without yearning. So these are the causes of happiness. To live without hate amongst the hateful. So we can see in this world, there's a lot of hatred in this world, isn't there? Especially amongst people who have different opinions and different views, whether it's political beliefs, religious beliefs, the whole gamut of different types of beliefs and attachments. So this means when you live without these kind of attachments, that means strong clinging, then there's no need to hate, because hate, anger and hatred come from coming up against something we don't like hearing other people's opinions when they attack us or they, make fun of us, or in some other way threaten our idea of happiness. That is how a person wouldn't know why they would get angry or hate others. So it's talking from a Dhamma point of view for those who are practicing the Dhamma, and especially those who have reached some level of detachment from those things. So, you might be amongst, whether it's your family members or just colleagues at work or other people where you are, you can see, people getting in arguments and holding grudges and resentments toward all these people. And so you can be happy that you are free from those. And happily do we live in good health amongst the ailing. So this good health in ailing is, of course, on two levels. The physical level, for one instance. Of course, we all ail or have some kind of problems with the body. Many persons have, of course, many more ailments and problems than others, and some of that's due to their own unmindful lifestyles, or it may be genetics and other things like that. But anyway, to have good health is one of the blessings, and also mental health. So there's physical health, and then there's mental health, and there's physical illness, and there's mental illness. And some people have one or the other, or many people, of course, have a mixture of both. And until we attain the higher stages of enlightenment, we're going to have we might always have physical ailments. Even the Buddha had, when he got older, he had some physical ailments, or even when he was younger, he still had sometimes the four elements get out of balance, and might have had some, pains and so on. But mentally, he, didn't suffer. So, to have a good health, good physical health, and good mental health is a source of happiness, because you can meditate better, of course. It's worrying about, the various illnesses and fear that you're going to get this disease or that disease, or even if you have pains and so on, it might prevent you from sitting in a good meditation posture, or, your mind gets drawn toward the pains, or just worrying about, certain conditions of the body. So it's a source of happiness to have a minimal amount of physical pain and the mental pain. And practice of Dhamma helps you do that, because a lot of the source of the physical pain is through our unmindfulness. And maybe when we were younger, we got into accidents because of one thing or another, and then those accidents plague us for the rest of our life, in certain ways, and then of course the mental illness of just not being satisfied. Now there's a story that connected with these verses. So a quarrel arose between two tribes or clans of people in regard to the waters of a boundary. So this river was running through this land, and on one side there was one clan or tribe of people, actually it was the Buddha's relatives, and on the other side there was another clan, and sometimes there were, could have been related on both sides due to whatever intermarriage and so on. But anyway, they got in a quarrel about, over the water rights, as we see it even happens today, doesn't. And, so they were hating the others or blaming the others. Oh, you're taking too much water from the river, and so on. So they had hatred amongst them. So the Buddha admonished them to live without hate. And of course, that can only be done through the practice of meditation, really. When you develop your mind sufficiently in concentration and awareness, where you're able to live more consistently in the present moment. And, at any moment that you see the mind getting irritated or angry and so on, that mindfulness helps you to reflect on it or nip it quickly in the bud, so it doesn't continue to grow, and then wind up getting into deeper sort of arguments and disputes with others over things. And you could say, oh yeah, just let it go, and so on. But it's because people don't have that inward centeredness and that mindfulness that they allow the mind to cling on to those things. Now, the next verses, these are fairly related. Susukam vata jivam yesam no nati kinchanam piti bhakka bhavisam deva abhasarayata. Happily do we live, we who have no impediments, feeders of joy shall we be, even as the gods of the radiant realms experience joy. We can live with that kind of joy that even the gods live in the heavenly realms. So again, we who have no impediments, so that refers to, people that have purified their minds of, greed, hatred, and delusion, at least to a certain good extent, that it doesn't interfere with that connection with the present moment. The feeders of joy means it's really the present moment. The more you are grounded in the present moment, letting go of clinging on to the past, the future, and that means clinging on to your opinions, because most of those opinions and desires and attachments are things you have accumulated in the past. And you expect them to go on into the future. So if anybody threatens that future, then that's when their defilements arise. So the feeders on joy means if you can attain, through concentration, if you can attain stages of jhana or just a good state of present moment awareness, you remain connected to the subtle vibration of the present moment, which is always there just underneath our active mind. There's this connection to the subtle vibrations. That means even the vibrations of the body. And that's why I continually, repeat that over and over about in all the meditations. The main goal should be, especially in the beginning for most people, to try to reconnect with the subtle vibrations in the body that are always there. They're not a million miles away, It's literally just beneath your nose, if you know how to just pause and rest there in the present moment. And because that present moment awareness, there's no past or future, and all problems are problems of identifying and clinging to the past and the future. But you see, everybody else is, their minds most people have no idea even what the present moment means. If they say, if they're in the present moment, usually they'll just go to sleep. It's being in the present moment and remaining conscious and awake. That is the mastery of the mind. To stay still and centered in the present moment without thoughts, but without going to sleep. So the story behind this is one day the Buddha went to a village on alms. And owing to the intervention of Mara, the Buddha could not obtain any food. So Mara, of course, is a personification of, the devil, you could say, the antagonist, who's always trying to obstruct our progress on the path. So this Mara, whether it's an internal impediment or it's, some people believe it was an actual being, but somehow the Buddha couldn't get any food. And then the Buddha asked him, the Mara playing this trick on the Buddha, and then said, "Oh, is the Buddha hungry?" Expecting the Buddha to say, "Yes, I'm hungry. Why did you do?" No, the Buddha didn't say anything like that. The Buddha explained the mental attitude of those who are free from impediments. If I get food, it's okay. And if I don't get food, it's also okay. The mind, doesn't fluctuate. When it's got food, it's okay. And if it doesn't get food, you can survive equally as well at least a few days without any kind of food eating. Well, the average person, if they miss one meal, oh my gosh, they think they're going to die and make a big deal out of it. So we go on to this next verse. Jayam veram pasavati dukkam seti parajito upasanto sukham seti hitva jaya parajayam. Victory breeds hatred. The defeated live in pain. Happily, the peaceful live, giving up victory and defeat. So, most people in the world, they're focused on this idea of win or lose, victory or defeat, because of this competition mindset that, most societies have, get caught up into, whether it's, a beauty contest or it's a bodybuilding contest or it's a track meet or, it's a, Jeopardy program or, so, the winner gets happy, but the loser usually feels a little bit sad. He probably says, I should have won that or something, and usually not too happy with the person who won it. Sometimes they are, but so the peaceful person lives giving up victory and defeat. So when we meditate, and even this idea of people sit down to meditate and they expect or they hope that they're going to have a peaceful meditation or they're going to develop a concentration. So, they get caught up in this good or bad. People say, oh, did you have a good meditation? No, I had a bad meditation. Because they're focusing on these extremes. So giving up those extremes and just saying, it is what it is. And not getting elated when you win and not getting dejected when you lose, because that's the way the world is. Sometimes you get what you want, sometimes you don't. And not to be affected by that too much. I know it's difficult, of course, in the competitive world and in this sort of these modern societies also where everything is based on money and things like that. That's what, creates so much, tensions and suffering. So the story behind this is like there was one of the kings that lived, in the area where the Buddha grew up in, the different kingdoms. So a king was sad because 3 times his army had been defeated in a battle. So he was sad because of that. And then the Buddha recited this stanza, commenting on the consequences of both defeat and victory. In victory, that also it strengthens the ego, and then that ego wants to be, more victorious, and they keep on having greed for that victory, conquering one person after the other, whether it's in competitions, and then you see that at many points people wind up, that kind of greed winds up ending their career. They injure themselves permanently in their training, or something else happens. These stunt people try to go one extra thing and then kill themselves or injure themselves, and it's all driven by that sort of greed and that wanting to be the victor. Because that's the ego feeds on that. And that's why, of course, in the Dhamma teachings, conquering that thirst and greed of the ego is very important for attaining the inner peace. It's because of that unrest. So this next verse number 202, if you're keeping track. Nati ragasamo agi, nati dosamo kali, nati kanda samadukka, nati saniparam sukham. There is no fire like lust, no crime like hate. There is no ill like the body, no bliss higher than the peace of Nibbana. So that lust or this intense, desire, especially the kind of sexual desire, but it could be others as well. It's like a fire that consumes people. And no crime like hate, because hatred, is a source of lots of crimes. And, out to get even with somebody, that did something to us or in one way or another. Although usually most of that hate is because of greed also. You can't really separate greed and hatred. They're very interrelated. If there wasn't greed and attachment, then there wouldn't be too much anger or hatred, as we discussed before. So there's a story behind this one. So this young woman, it seems, got married, and the family was having a celebration, like a wedding reception or something. Of course, Indian weddings can be very elaborate. But anyway, they're celebrating the marriage of this young woman, her daughter, and they invited the Buddha and the Sangha to her house for the meal. So that's even today, that can be fairly common that on a marriage ceremony, not during the ceremony itself, but they might invite monks to the home for a meal, to bless the couple. While watching the bride serving the Buddha, so the bride was serving the Buddha and the monks, and her recent husband, or this person she just married, was looking, and lust arose in this bridegroom's mind, probably saying, maybe they haven't consummated their marriage yet, So, she was spending all this time feeding the Buddha, and this guy was, itching to, consummate his marriage, I guess. And so the Buddha could read his thoughts. And then he uttered the verse, how this bridegroom was consumed with this fire of lust for his newly married bride. And so and this next verse, Jigacha paramaroga samkara paramaduka etam nyatva yata bhutam nibbānam paramam sukham. Hunger is the greatest disease. aggregates are the greatest ill. Knowing this as it really is, the wise person realizes the nibbana, the state beyond that disease, the supreme bliss of nibbana. So the hunger is the greatest disease. Now, hunger also is of two kinds, physical hunger and mental hunger. And, usually a disease, we're not always having a disease, and we get it cured by some medicines. But hunger assails people, every 6 or 8 hours. People are imagining, they're hungry. I have to get something to eat. And so people are always constantly, having to store up stuff. And, of course, it's just conditioning of the body. And the body can actually go quite a long time without eating. But naturally, if you get used to eating so often, then the cells of the body naturally get conditioned by that. And so if you don't get food, within that time, let's say 6 hours, or some people even 3 or 4 hours, then, the cells start, like these cats and meow when they get hungry. So our cells of our body are, producing some sensations, and we think, oh, I'm hungry. But, again, it's largely mental. So, there is some physical conditioning to the hunger. And it's true, we have to eat, but most people, eat too much, overeat. And that's a cause of a lot of diseases in itself, is overeating, as many people certainly know. And then, of course, hunger is a mental type of hunger too. We hunger for sensual pleasures. And we hunger for what we don't have. And the aggregates are the greatest ill. That means the 5 aggregates. We've studied and gone over the 5 aggregates a number of times, meaning the body, feelings, the perceptions, mental states, and consciousness. Because they're impermanent and because we cannot control them. And basically, they're powered through the past karma, the past conditioning. And, even though we want to change them, they come to plague us and cause us a lot of problems. And so realizing this state of the hunger, the meditator strives for hungerlessness. That means being contented with the present moment, being contented with just the bare necessities of life without this hunger for more and more things. And unfortunately, in this day of the internet, the internet is a blessing and a curse both, because, okay, we can get emails faster. To me, that's probably the best thing is, the internet is email. But anyway, all this other shopping and so on, and getting flooded with all these every day, a barrage of, advertisements with wanting you to buy more and more. So, and people, they see something and then, oh yeah, then they start thinking they need it. But when to kind of cut that off is difficult. So through the practice of meditation, of course, we can learn how to just develop that kind of contentment, that where you can live in a state of happiness, but with the minimal unnecessary involvement with the world of madness and greed, hatred, and delusion that's going on, all around. So the story behind this one, the hunger, a poor farmer came to hear the Buddha in a state of hunger. So there was this farmer, maybe there wasn't enough rain, so his crops couldn't grow. So, he didn't have much food. But he came to hear the Buddha, give a Dhamma talk. And the Buddha could see this farmer, was in a state of hunger. And so the Buddha requested his attendant to give that man some food, because it's difficult to concentrate your mind on the Dhamma when your stomach is growling or when it wants something. And so maybe even you yourself sometime, even listening to some of these Zoom programs every week or something else, your attention, your concentrations get interrupted by, some kind of desire, hunger for something, or maybe your favorite program on TV is coming on, and then the monk is talking too long, and this anger. Why doesn't he stop talking? It's over a time limit, and you can see these urges come up. You see, so we can see that is strong in our own minds. This hunger, whether it's for sensual desire or it's a hunger for food, regular types of food. But so knowing that, that's why there's a saying, it's difficult for a hungry person to concentrate on the Dhamma because they're thinking about their stomach. So that's why a lot of times when you go to the temple, they offer you food to eat first. They offer the dana first, and then they give the Dhamma talk after the meal, because then hopefully people will be more satisfied then, and their minds would be able to stay more concentrated. So now we're just going to, another verse or two. Arogya paramalabha santutti paramam dhanam visasu paramanyati nibbānam paramam sukham. Health is the highest gain. Contentment is the greatest wealth. The trustworthy are the best kinsmen. Nibbana is the highest bliss. So health is the highest gain, and this means, bodily health. Because again, as we've already mentioned, and you very well know, when the body's not feeling well, the last thing coming into your mind would be to sit for meditation, right? And but when the body is healthy and you sit down to meditate, then it's much easier to get concentrated. And again, the two levels, the health is physical health is one thing, but the mental health also is another. Because even if you're physically healthy and your mind is disturbed, then it's going to not be easy to meditate either. So that's why being mindful and taking care of our bodies is a good thing. Not being overly infatuated with it, but knowing the basic needs of the body and learning how to keep the body healthy enough and free from unnecessary pains. And that's why things like yoga and things about understanding things about the diet and doing exercises that are to help the circulation and all that. That's why those are usually done. And the Buddha advocated, saying that health is the highest gain. And contentment is the greatest wealth. So a lot of people can have wealth, they're still not contented, right? So wealthy people seem they want to get more wealthy. And there's never any end to how much. Look at some of these billionaires, they keep getting billions and billions more. But anyway, so being contented, and especially being contented with the present moment, that's the greatest, that's mental wealth. That's how we, in the Dhamma, that we would define being wealthy or healthy is the mental health and the mental wealth of being contented and having reached a level of equanimity and being able to endure the extremes, letting go of the extremes. Because very few people in the world, reach that kind of level. And the trusty are the best kinsmen. That means having people you can really trust. Sometimes we think we can trust certain persons, and then they let us down, for one reason or other. Or maybe our expectations are too high also. And we overly trust people because of our own naivety. I don't know how to pronounce that word, but but anyway, having trustworthy friends and so on that you can count on is are the best type of whether they're relatives or they're others. It's good to have people that you can trust to be there when you need them, or anyway to at least not to deceive you and so on. Okay, the story about this overeating or this hunger is there's another king. There were a lot of kings, living in those days, a lot of kingdoms. So owing to overeating, a king used to suffer. So kings, of course, they can have anything they want, right? So this king used to overeat and then suffer various ailments. So the Buddha advised this king to eat moderately, and then the king actually followed the Buddha's advice, and it seems became healthy. So maybe the king was, every couple of hours snapping his fingers and having his servants bring him some, food, whether it's fruit or other types of food. Anyway, he practiced moderation and became healthy. And so when the king told the Buddha that his health had improved, that's when the Buddha described those sources of happiness, about being free from the hunger and so on, and being contented. So I think we're going to stop there with those verses. We went over quite a lot of the verses, and let's see if anybody had any questions to any of those things. Let's see what's in the chat room here. Some of these are just some comments. I'm not going to read them out. Oh, here's one. How about happiness of relationships? Yes. Yeah, people can experience happiness in a relationship, but does anybody ever experience unhappiness in a relationship? So there's always two sides of everything. Yes, of course, relationships can provide happiness, but is that last verse that we recited, having somebody to trust. The reason why relationships break down is usually on account of trust, right? So you have some agreements in relationships, right? Especially, let's say, a marriage relationship, and you expect the other person to honor those, type of, uh, agreements, right? But then they break those, right? They have their eyes to other people, or do other things, or they cheat, on this and that, and that's the reason why so many relationships break up, is because the untrustworthiness of that can happen. So sure, happiness, relationships can bring happiness, but you also have to understand that there's always the potential for the relationships to break. I mean, look at most people in the world. How many boyfriends or girlfriends did you go through, until you were 25 or 30, or until eventually you got married? And then how many marriages maybe did you go through? And if you check out those, many of those, all of these things that we just talked about can be seen as the cause of those relationships breaking up. So there's no harm in forming relationships, and we need them, but just to, ultimately you have to fall back on oneself. You're the only person you can trust. And even then we can't trust ourselves sometimes unless we've practiced meditation. If we have really got in touch with our inner, awareness, and have, stabilized that. Is it the Mangala Sutta? I'm not sure. Is what the Mangala Sutta? Of course, no, those verses I've been reading, they could be from the Mangala Sutta, but these are from the Dhammapada. Yeah, there's Bhaskar. It's Sukha Vaga in the Dhammapada. So if any of you came on late, we've been reading chapter 15 in the Dhammapada, Sukha Vaga. But of course, a lot of these verses that we read in the Dhammapada are also taken from some suttas too. So you find them repeated in some different places. Okay, that seems to be the last question there. Now, does anybody have any sort of last question or follow-up that they want to just ask orally by unmuting themselves, or ask a question? So if not, then we will take a few minutes break and then come back to do a few exercises, do something for the body to get the energy flowing, hopefully, and then sit for the meditation. Okay? Be happy. See you back in a few minutes. hands. I want to be smaller. So the hands.
Oh, go back a little bit.
Okay, friends, we'll start the yoga. Stand straight. Feel your feet pressing the floor. Relax the shoulders. Feel the weight of the arms and hands hanging at the side. Feel the clothing touching the skin on different places. Feel your head balanced on top of the neck. Start to mentally feel the outline of the standing body. Then begin some deep, slow breathing. If you know the 3-part breathing, breathing into the lower, middle, and upper part of the chest. Hold the air in the lungs 2 or 3 seconds. And try to feel the last bit of air go out of the lungs on the out breath. And then the next in breath. Just take a few more deep, slow breaths like that. Cultivating this basic mindfulness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. On the next in breath, raise the arms over the head, interlock the fingers, turn the palms up, straighten the arms, stretch your head back, bend back a little bit. The out breath, turn the hands down, touch the top of the head. Again, in breath, palms up, straighten the arms, head back, arch backward. Out breath, touch the head. Third time, try to hold that upward stretch longer. And bend back a little bit more. Feel the sensation. Release your fingers, arms back to the sides on the out breath. Just relax, close the eyes. Try to feel the vibrations of the body. Feel the feet pressing the floor, the arms and hands at the sides, the head on top. The clothing touching the skin on different places. Or just remember standing, the present moment of the body. Is the mind content with the standing posture? The present moment. Okay, with the next in breath, push up on the toes as you raise the arms over the head in this way, facing the hands toward each other and stretch up. Out breath, come back down, arms to the side, feet to the floor. Again, in breath up, use the breath to help lift the body up. Stretch out. In. Out. Relax. Stay focused in the body. Feeling the effects of each exercise. Each exercise will generate different sensations. All these sensations are just the four elemental vibrations. Solidity, fluidity, temperature, motion. Or just the vibration of the cells interacting. Just letting go of the thoughts. Just let your thoughts come and go in the background. Just keeping the sensation body, vibration body in the front of the awareness. Okay, next, do the knee bending. On the in-breath, again lift up on the toes and lift the arms up front for balance. The out-breath, bend the knees and lower down, balancing on the balls of the feet. Come all the way down if you can to the squatting position. Deep breath to push up. Feel the strength of the leg muscles pushing the body up. In out-breath. In. Out. The out-breath, relax. Feel the increased heart beating. Just remember standing, standing, standing. And ask yourself, are you content with the present moment? Okay, next we'll do side bending using both arms on the in-breath. Raise the hands and arms up over the head, keeping the fingers and arms straight. On the out-breath, bend over the right side. Feel the stretch in the side. In-breath, lift up. Then the other side, out-breath. In, out. Once more to each side. The out-breath, lower the arms, relax. Just keep feeling the body, sensations, vibrations, present moment, awareness. Now spread the legs and feet apart, about 3 feet. Hold the arms out to the side. We do the twisting from right to left. Breathe in. On the out breath, twist to the right. Keep your eyes focused on the hand going back. In breath, come back to the front. Let the feet turn with the body, and then to the other side with the out breath. In breath, front. Into the right, out breath. In, out. In. Once more to each side. Relax. Feel each foot pressing the floor. Don't give the mind time to wander in other thoughts. The body's always here and now. So feel the outline of the body exactly as it is. Feeling any aches or pains that may be coming and going within that body outline. The present moment of what is. Body has a life of its own. And now bring the legs and feet back together. Just standing straight with the head turning. The in-breath, turn the head to the right, to look over your right shoulder. Turn your eyes further to the right. You see something behind you. The out-breath, turn the head 180 degrees back to the left, concentrating into the neck vertebrae. In-breath back to the right. Out-breath left. In-breath right. Out-breath left. Let the head stop in the center. And try to mentally feel the outline of the standing body. Okay, one last exercise, the backward and forward bending. Just holding the hands kind of turned outward. Be careful with the back bends. Don't bend back too far the first time. On an in-breath, raise the arms up, spreading them out to the sides as you bend backwards. Keep your eyes open. Carefully lift up on the in-breath, keeping the arms out at the sides, and the out-breath, lowering the arms and hands down toward the floor, feet. Let the bones in the lower spine stretch out. Begin standing up, turn the palms outward, again in-breath, opening the arms out to the side. In-breath up, out-breath. Once more, in-breath. Out. On the in-breath, you stand up, bring the hands to the chest. Out-breath back to the sides. Just feel the whole body vibrating, pulsating with activated life force. Try to feel or imagine that activated life force, oxygenated blood permeating and saturating and suffusing the whole body, mind, nervous system with tranquilizing, present moment, awareness, energy. Okay. And come back to our seats for the sitting meditation. Okay, friends, so just try to sit straight, get comfortable in the posture. Try to keep the spine and the back of the head in a straight line. Try to find that center of gravity of the head and the spine over the hips. Or that tipping point where the body could either tip forwards or backwards. Try to keep the chin lifted up level to the floor. Just have your hands comfortably placed where you can keep them for the whole meditation period without moving them. And gently close the eyes. And it's like looking down through a microscope. Just focus your attention where the buttocks press the seat. Feel that contact of the weight of the body to the seat or floor. Just feel those sensations of pressure or hardness. See if you can feel the right buttock, the left buttock pressing the seat. Just remind yourself of sitting. Now the body is sitting. And try to mentally feel how your legs and knees are bent underneath. And feel the feet and toes. Try to feel the heels of the feet. And the arches and toes. Just try to feel the subtle sensations in your feet and toes. Where they press the floor, where they press each other. Again, just remember sitting, sitting. Moving the attention up to feel your hands and fingers, where they touch together, where they touch the body. Try to feel the outline of your thumbs or fingers, the subtle sensations. And feel the weight of the arms hanging from the shoulders. Just relax the shoulders. Feel where the clothing touches the skin of the shoulders, arms, or chest. You just remember sitting, sitting. It's the here and now of the body. You now feel around the base of the neck where any of your clothing might touch the base of the neck, your collar, or any sensations in the throat. Keep the chin lifted up, level, parallel to the floor. Now feel your face. The skin stretched over the face. And particularly going to feel where your lips touch together. The upper lip touching the lower lip. There's lots of sensations in the lips. It might be the sensation of dryness or moistness. Then feel the tongue laying in the mouth. Or any other sensations in the mouth, teeth touching together, or the tongue touches the teeth. Feel that moistness or saliva, the water element. Now move the attention up to feel the eyes and the socket. And the eyelids stretched over the eyeballs. And just mentally gaze on the eyeball, using the inner eye. The eye of awareness can sort of watch and feel the fleshy eyes. Try to feel the subtle eye movement, and the blood pulsing in the capillaries of the eyes. You might see some light or color, some mental image. So from that point behind the eyes, try to kind of watch or feel the sensations on the face. Like awareness is like a video camera. We have our own inbuilt video camera of awareness. It can watch and feel things. Just feel the different sensations on your face. Skin stretched over the forehead. The nose. Cheeks. And the lips. Again, awareness is like having your own video camera. You can focus it on any point that you want in the body. And just imagine you're holding a regular video cam, just holding your attention behind the eyes and just point it towards your shoulders, arms, hands. moving the attention to feel the lower body. Feel the buttocks pressing the seat, the legs bent underneath, down to the heels and feet and toes. It's developing mental control, be able to move your attention where you want it. Keep it there for as long as one wants. Or to move it from place to place very easily. And I'll just pan the video camera back up to the point behind the eyes. And then try to feel the outline of the whole body, like opening up the wide-angle lens. Try to feel the outline of the sitting body, the buttocks and feet underneath, the arms and hands at the sides, the head on top, clothing touching the skin in between. Should be able to just hold the attention on that outline of the body, sitting, in the present moment awareness. And then begin some deep, slow breathing again as we did in the yoga class. Let's take a few seconds to expand the abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest, holding the air in the lungs a few seconds to feel the oxygen going out to all the cells. And feel the relaxing contractions of the out breath. Just take a few more deep, slow breaths like that, cultivating this basic mindfulness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. And we'll count our breaths from 1 to 10 to try to develop a more continuous concentration on the breathing. With the next expanding in breath, count 1. Feel the brief pause. And with the contracting out breath, also count 1. Feeling the last bit of air go out of the lung. The next in breath, 2. Out breath, 2. In breath, 3. Out breath, 3. In breath, 4. Out breath, 4. In breath, 5. Out breath, 5. In breath, 6. Out breath, 6. In breath, 7. Out breath, 7. In breath, 8. Out breath, 8. In breath, 9. Out breath, 9. In breath, 10. Out breath, 10. And discontinue the counting so that the breath return to its shorter, uncontrolled rhythm. Don't try to deliberately control it. And keep the attention focused there in the center of the body to feel the shorter, subtler movements of the abdomen, rib cage, or chest. Feel the sensations of the clothing rubbing against the skin, the stomach, rib cage, or chest. It expands and contracts with each breath. You just set that video camera of awareness there in the middle of the body. Just knowing when the breath is coming in and knowing when the breath is going out. Kind of be like a scientist sitting in the laboratory, conducting an experiment or observing an experiment. This body is the laboratory for the meditator. the experiment in observing and the five aggregates as they're coming and going. Just observing how each breath is different, longer or shorter. An easy breath or a difficult breath. So feeling the sensations of expanding and contracting is the material form. The pleasant or painful or neutral sensations arising are the feeling. Recognize it as breathing, as the perception. And any other thoughts or reactions to it, or decisions, or the sankharas. And then the knowing consciousness, the sense of I or me doing it is the ego consciousness. This breathing process is going on within the larger body. The larger body sitting around the breathing process. It's called contemplation, the body in the body. So even as you're feeling the sensations of the breathing, other sensations can be felt around it. Prickling sensation, clothing touching the skin, aches and pain. This breathing body is the connection to the present moment. All these sensations are occurring within present moment awareness. The more sensations you can notice, the more centered and concentrated the mind becomes. Just breathing in, sitting. Breathing out, sitting. Breath by breath, moment by moment. Just developing concentration and mindfulness. Concentration is the ability to hold the breathing body and awareness. Mindfulness is the alertness for different sensations coming and going, or thoughts coming and going. Being aware of any hindrances arising. And the wisdom is understanding that this whole body-mind process, the five aggregates, are in a constant state of change, flux, and permanence. Just try to develop that sense of just being in a theater, just watching this inner video of the body-mind process, the five aggregate process, coming and going. And if within your own home there you hear some sounds, even those sounds are just arising and vanishing through that space of present moment awareness. Breathing in, sitting. Breathing out, sitting. Sensations come and go. Pleasant, painful feelings come and go. Perceptions and thoughts come and go. Thoughts of I, me, or mine come and go. These are just a continuous stream of the five aggregates coming, going, and directing. But just underneath all of that change, impermanence, mental chaos, is the subtle vibration of the present moment awareness. That's always there. Supreme contentment. Of the present moment awareness. Mental health, wealth, contentment, happiness. It's always right there as a possibility, literally just beneath your nose, just underneath the skin. What perceptions or thoughts arise based on that sound vibration breaking through awareness? Sabbi sankhara anicchati yada panyaya pasati atanibindati dukhi Isamago visuddhiya dukkha patta ca nidukkha bhaya patta ca nibbaya sokka patta ca nisokka Ontu sabbi pipanino. All conditioned things, the five aggregates of this body, mind, and world are impermanent. They arise only to change and pass away. When one sees this with the eye of wisdom, one becomes disenchanted with suffering. This is the path to purity, to freedom. And may the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. In this way may all beings live with mindfulness and wisdom. And thus spoke the Buddha. So let's spend the last couple minutes just sending out thought vibrations of metta toward our own body and mind and all other beings. So again, just take a few deep, slow breaths. After breathing in, hold the air in the lungs and try to imagine that oxygenated blood going out to permeate and tranquilize all the cells of the body, mind, system. Feeling the relaxing contraction of the out breath. Just imagine that as sending metta to your own body, mind, nervous system. Soothing energy vibrations of deep, slow breathing, life force distribution. Just thinking, may I be well, peaceful, and wise, free from sufferings of body and mind created through unmindful thoughts and action. May I be well and happy in the present moment. It's radiating out these thought vibrations to all your other family members, friends. Imagine these vibrations with each out breath going out across the countryside, the towns and cities, and all the beings, soothing the fires of their hate, greed, and hatred. establishing their mind and present moment awareness. We see that may all beings be well, peaceful, and wise, free from greed, hatred, fear, and ignorance, free from the pains and sufferings coming about because of those unskillful thoughts and actions. May all beings be able to have the patience, strength, mindfulness, and wisdom to meet and overcome all difficulties in life. May all beings be able to hear the teachings of the Dhamma and practice meditation to free their minds from confusion and suffering. May all beings be able to live peacefully and harmoniously together. May all beings be well, peaceful, and wise. Now to finish, I invite you to join in chanting the word sadhu 3 times slowly with the breathing. So take a deep in-breath with the chanting on the out-breath. Sadhu. 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 Now place the hands at the edge of the knees. And take one more deep breath. Stretch the head back on the in-breath. And lift the head up, and with the out breath, press the chin to the top of the chest. Stretch the neck vertebrae. The head up, level, breath. And relax on the out breath. Okay, friends, you see, so I'm watching you over my shoulder again here. It's like your own consciousness watching what you're doing. Okay, friends, I hope you had a peaceful meditation. Does anybody have any last sort of questions you might want to ask or comments? Feel free to unmic yourself or unmute yourself. Let's see if there's some new chats in here. Hello, Fabiana.
Hello, Bhante.
How are
I
things
had
going
the
in the countryside of Portugal?
good, good. Summer
Yeah.
is coming, many flowers. It's very good. But today I went to the monastery
Oh, good.
to Somedarama, and Bruno was taking photos for the website of the monastery.
Uh-huh.
So it was a beautiful evening.
Yes, I'm sure.
There's a Bodhi tree there, and I remember you planting the Bodhi tree in Brazil, the monastery.
That Bodhi tree there in Brazil must be quite big now.
Really?
When I saw it a few years ago, it was already quite big.
Yes. Here they suffer because of the winter, so they
Yeah.
have to be in the glass with the roof, so they can survive. So,
Yeah. Yeah, the same here. We have a Bodhi tree that we keep inside, big pot near a big window. Okay, friends. So we'll meet again either on Wednesday or Sunday. Okay, so be well, be grateful.
Thank you. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya.
Muito obrigado.
Muito obrigado.
good to see you, Arthur.
Yes, I also, Fabiana.
Good to see you all.